This thing on? Hi, everybody. My name is Jacob, and I am here. We're going to have a little bit of a pantry party today where I kind of show off some recipes that use ingredients that you already have in your pantry so you can stay inside during this quarantine. Now, I must admit that these recipes might not be the healthiest recipes, but I think it's important that we still have some fun and we still eat good as we quarantine. Now, today I'm going to show you two recipes that use cake mixes. So, the first thing that I want to show you is called Barbara Mandrell cake. Now, this is a Gorski family classic. This is actually my Uncle Scott's favorite cake. And for those of you who don't know who Barbara Mandrell is, first of all, second of all, Barbara Mandrell is like a, blonde hair, high to Jesus, country chanteuse from the early 80s. She gave us such hits as I Was Country When Country Wasn't Cool, which I really urge you to look up. And If Loving You Is Wrong, I Don't Want to Be Right. Hits a little close to home. So this is her cake. And in my research, I saw that it's also called Barbara Mandrell's Pig Lickin' Cake. So I'm just going to go with Barbara Mandrell cake because I don't know about pig licking. I don't know about all that. But let me show you the ingredients and how we're going to get started today. So here's what we're going to need. For the cake itself, you're going to need a half cup of oil. So we got canola oil. You go ahead and use vegetable oil, which my family calls Earl, as in, aren't you going to put on some Earl before you go in the backyard and lay out? We got a yellow cake mix here, a butter cake mix here. We have 4 eggs. And this is a 15-ounce can of mandarin oranges. The original recipe, which will be found in this fabulous recipe book from my grandmother, calls for 11-ounce can. I say just open it up, eat a couple. You got 11 ounces. Now, for the frosting for the cake, you're going to need 1 cup of Cool Whip. So I think that's about half of that tub. Maybe it's the whole tub. Stay tuned. And then we have a 20-ounce can of crushed pineapple. And then we have a wonderful vanilla 4-ounce pudding, instant pudding. I love the idea of maybe using a different flavor pudding. I wouldn't use chocolate per se because, as you see, we got the oranges and we got the pineapple. I really love the idea of maybe using a pistachio pudding because I'm quite fond of that. So like I said, these are things that you're very likely to find in your own pantry, and we're just going to whip it up together and make something fun. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to put together the Barbara Mandrell cake. So we have our yellow cake mix, and I'm just going to put it in this bowl that I'm kind of realizing now is too small, but we're just going to go with it. I think that's okay during the quarantine, just to go with it. So that's my yellow cake mix. I have a half a cup of oil here, which I'm just going to put in, easy as that. And then in this bowl, I have my 4 eggs that I already cracked because it's like a cooking show and that's what they do on them. And then what I've done here is I've separated the mandarin orange juice from the can of oranges. Now, this was a 15-ounce can, and the recipe calls for an 11-ounce can, so I poured some of the juice out, but I just kind of eyeballed it. It's not a big deal. So then I'm just going to go ahead and put that in there. Now, many of you might have like a stand mixer, or which I love stand mixers. Stand mixers are incredible. Or like a old-fashioned beater, kind of thing. I don't mind just kind of putting some elbow grease in it here and using a whisk. Now, something that the recipe calls for, my grandmother's recipe calls for, is a half a cup of nuts. So that could be Definitely wouldn't use peanuts because that would be weird. But you could use a half a cup of walnuts. You could use a half a cup of almonds, or even half a cup of pistachios. Oh my gosh, I have some pistachios. I should have chopped those up and put that in here. Or pecans. Pecans are so good in desserts because I feel like pecans have a higher fat content, and that's perfect for baking. So what I'm checking here is I'm just making sure that there's no, the eggs are all mixed in right, there's no egg whites just chilling out, but also I am being cognizant of the fact that I'm not overbeating it. You don't want to overwork it or else you'll have a tough cake. If I wasn't being filmed, I'd be licking this right now. But I am being filmed. So I'll put my whisk right here, or, make a little mess, so be it. And then I'm going to fold in my oranges. This would also be the point where you fold in your chopped nuts. And a part of me thought, maybe I should run the knife over these oranges just to make them more bite-sized. But come on now, they're mandarin oranges, they're not big. And as I mix it here, as I fold it in, I see that they're breaking apart a little bit. But would you really be all that mad if you got a whole orange in your bite? Nah. Nope. Okay. So I have some 2 pre-greased 9-inch cake pans. I also want to know, maybe you didn't notice, but I did a costume change. Still in my sweats. So I'm going to split this in half, put half in one and half in the other. This is definitely not my forte. This is the type of thing where I'd be like, can somebody else do this part? But, when in quarantine, you do new stuff. So let's say that's half. I see a lot of people online do this thing with their cakes, where they go like this. I think it gets the air bubbles out. I'm doing it just because I saw other people do it. Oh my god, was the camera shaking? That's okay. Okay, so there's one. And then I have the other one here, and I'm just going to pour the rest in, and then see if it's about half. Mind you, I have the oven preheated already to 325. Not your standard 350, but 325. Okay, let's see. Yeah, that's about half to me. Now, I had inquired with family members as to whether you could do this in a 9x13, and they said no because the wonderful effect of a layered cake is what really makes the cake special. Okay, so I'm going to pop these in the oven. I'm going to put one in the middle and one in the lower rack. I'm going to bake them for 25 minutes, and then about halfway through, I'm going to switch, just to make sure that they cook evenly. Okay, so while those are baking away in the oven, I am going to show you how to make the frosting, which really couldn't be easier. So I have my 20-ounce can of crushed pineapple. Just going to put that in my bowl. And here I have my 4-ounce package of pudding. And before I fold in my Cool Whip, I'm just going to make sure that this is incorporated. The juice from the pineapple, crushed pineapple, reacts with the instant pudding to make that pudding texture. So we kind of want that to start before I fold in my Cool Whip. Now earlier I had said that I think a cup of Cool Whip is half of this. That's not the case. This whole thing of Cool Whip, which I just can't believe, is 1 cup of Cool Whip. Who'd have thunk it? Okay. Oh, let me show you. There's really not much to see. But this is what it looks like. And then here's my Cool Whip. Now this might actually, maybe you don't want nuts in your cake, you want it in your frosting for whatever reason, you could totally add some nuts to this as well. I recently found out the true magic of real whipped cream, and it kind of makes using Cool Whip sinful, because to make whipped cream, you just throw the heavy whipping cream in your stand mixer and let it go. and it tastes so much better. But, you know, here on Pantry Party, we're using what we got. Okay, so as you see, it's coming together here slowly but surely. I'm just gonna keep on folding. The thing about fresh whipped cream, though, is that when you're folding, you have to be so much more gentle because it will deflate. This Cool Whip, whatever chemicals that they cooked up to make Cool Whip, it's indestructible. I think even me folding it in is kind of not necessary. I could just be going woo-hoo. But I'm going to fold it in because I have the time to. This frosting reminds me a lot of another Pantry Party cake called Watergate cake. Shout out to Watergate cake if you ever had Watergate cake. Maybe I'll do that one next. Okay. So I'm just making sure that I have all the pineapple mixed in. There's no big yellow streaks. And even if there was some big yellow streaks of the pineapple, totally not a big deal. But this, there we go. This is what your frosting is going to end up looking like. Exactly how you expected. Cool Whip mixed up with some pudding and pineapple. Okay. Okay, now I'm ready to frost the cake. So I have my 2 completely cooled cakes here. And it does turn out that about 30 minutes, not 25, about 30 minutes. So I'm going to take one of the cakes here. Please don't fall apart on camera because I'll start crying. Okay, awesome. And I'm just going to take a gloop, a healthy dollop here. Boop. Maybe a little bit more because I really like a big layer there. Oh, this lovely cake stand. If I would have thought about it, I would have put maybe 3 pieces of wax paper underneath. So then when I frosted the sides, I could pull them out and it would be nice and clean on there. But this is just more of a cake for friends and family, so. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and frost this, and then when it's time to taste, you'll see the full final product. Okay, here we are with the finished cake. And you know, she may not be the most put together cake, but I think there's some Midwestern charm there, right? Okay. Oh, and look how cute it is with the nice big layers. I really like that. Oh, and you can see the oranges in there. Looking good. Let's give it a taste. Gotta be careful not to get some of the frosting in my whiskers. The cake is nice and spongy, moist. You get the texture from the oranges and the pineapple. Now I do wish there was some nuts in here because that would give it that extra crunch. Other than that, ooh, this is delicious. Okay, so this second recipe I'm going to show you is super simple. I feel guilty how easy it is. It's for pumpkin muffins. Now, I first learned about this recipe when in high school I was doing a little bit of the Weight Watchers. And I was looking for something that I could eat in the morning that still kind of satisfied my sweet tooth, but also I was still getting my fiber, and there's like a semblance of healthiness to this recipe. So I'm really excited to share it with you. Okay, as you see here, we got my oven turned on to 350. And let me show you what we're working with here. This is a 2-ingredient recipe. What we have here is 15-ounce can of pure pumpkin. This is not your pumpkin pie filling. And we have a spice cake mix. Now let's say you only have a white cake mix or a yellow cake mix. You can go ahead and throw in some cinnamon, nutmeg, allspice, ginger, whatever you have. And then voila, you got a spice cake mix. So all you really have to do here is combine those two ingredients, the batter's going to be very thick. You see how, like, wow. And when you're mixing it together, you're going to think to yourself, there is no way I'm going to combine this entire cake mix into this pumpkin. But you will. Here's the proof. And then over here you see I have my muffin tin. Now this recipe says it makes 24 muffins. I don't believe it. I don't buy it. That's not my experience. But you see I got my muffin papers inside of my lovely silicone muffin tin, which I just love so much. I really don't even need to put in the muffin papers because the silicone is so non-stick. Is it silicone or maybe it's a different... I don't really know what it is, but it's this like plasticky, you know. I've got it on Amazon. Ooh, I mean, I got it at my local small business. So yeah, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to spoon even amounts of this into my muffins. Okay, so here I am with one of the finished pumpkin muffins. I baked these off in the oven at 350 for about, I would say 22, 23 minutes. And let's go ahead and give it a try. As you see, as I'm unwrapping it, you can tell that it's very moist and very, I would almost say fudgy, but that makes me feel weird. And she might not be the prettiest muffin in the world. I was also reading, when I was looking at different variations of this recipe online, that you could go ahead and throw some cream cheese frosting on it and call it a cupcake. I don't know if I would do that. Only because it does taste like a muffin. It's not exactly a cupcake. But here we go. Let's give it the inside. I think it's really important. Oh, I'm still kind of chewing once you get into that chew. I think it's important that you use a spice cake mix here because you really need that with the pumpkin flavor. But it is so, I would say it's tender almost and very moist. Now for everyone on Weight Watchers there, one of these muffins is only 2 points per muffin. Ooh, and like I said before, when the recipe said, oh, this will make 24 muffins, I made 12 muffins. It did not make 24 muffins. And it was like 12 muffins perfectly. I didn't have any weird leftovers. I wasn't trying to stuff them into the tins. But yeah, there's your 2-ingredient pumpkin muffins. It's delicious. Now, I want to say thank you so much for watching, first of all. And I also want to say that I hope you guys are keeping high spirits. I hope that you're being kind to yourself and you're being kind to others. And also that you're washing your hands. Stay inside, guys. Thank you.